You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chums. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Please subscribe now on YouTube.
Broadcasting live worldwide.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right then. Good evening. How the devil are we? Yeah, I know it's early, 5 o'clock instead of 6, but we have got a special show coming up at 7, and it isn't anything to do with the Women's Euros. Stay till the end. I have mentioned it already, sort of last few days, but do stick. 7 o'clock, a special show coming up. But this is the Leicester Till I Die news show. Yep. Looking at tonight, we've got a bit of catching up to do. As I've just seen, Chelsea has 5, Raheem Sterling for £47.5 million. So what's happening with Brendan Jacob? Well, that's explained tonight. Another one we've missed out on. Nathan Collins joins Wolves and Burnley after Sangri is ready to sign a new PSG deal if we don't hurry up. 31 players travelled to Belgium, but no Schmeichel or Ward. What is that telling us? Hamza Chowdhury to West Brom off. Still no Tielemans update. Man United midfielder message. Are City turning into Southampton B? And then we have a question and answer session at the end, where we'll be going over, well, all of it mostly, to the Leicester Mercury, where they try and answer some of your transfer questions. This is Leicester Till I Die TV, YouTube. Please give us a subscribe if you haven't done already. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is the news channel. It is indeed. So, is it me? Well, we're going to start. Let's start first of all with some, well, let's start with the weather, And it's hot. Moving on, it is so hot. I don't know how you guys are managing. I'm down here on the south coast. There's no breeze. I've got my back door open, and that's obviously always a risky thing. But there we go. Cheers, Dan. I'll make a note of that for the future. Thank you very much, sir, for explaining that. Obviously, I can't tell at this end, so thank you. So, shall we have a look at what is happening in the news? Let's bring it up, and we'll go through it bit by bit. Brendan shake-up. Well, I mean, was it a rebuild? What was it? What was it? I just wonder whether it was all done, as I've said a few times, just as a G up to some of the players during the season, and whether it doesn't actually mean anything. But well, we're on day 34 of the transfer window, and we still haven't signed anybody. I think we're the only Premier League club that hasn't yet signed anybody. Are we worried? Are we looking at this as in the club is taking its time, or are we thinking maybe the coffers are empty? And I don't know. What's this one here? Spencer, good evening. How are you? Evening, Chris. If Brendan Rodgers, whoever is in charge of transfers, mention. yeah, we're going to come on to that later. So I might have to cross my legs, mate. But we don't have, like I say, this healthy rebuild. So, Terry, good evening. Now to resurrect my question. Clubs buy in January while season is in full swing. So what's the problem if we buy in August? I don't know what the problem is. We don't seem to. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. But how often? More often than not, January transfers are very much last minute, you're filling a gap because of an injury, you're not necessarily getting the player you want, and quite often you're paying over the odds because the selling clubs know that's why you're buying. I know, yes, we got Tielemans on loan, blah, blah, blah. There's always an odd good one, but generally speaking, I hate the January transfer window. If we don't make any signings in January, as we didn't last year, Terry, I'm quite happy with that, because it can unsettle the team. I remember Newcastle being top of the league, and they went and signed I think it was a Costa Rican striker. They were 6, 7, 8, 9 points ahead of Man United, and they end up losing the title to Man United because he disrupted the team. So yeah, I'd sooner buy in January than sooner buy in the summer than in January. But like I say, what Brendan Rodgers' healthy shake-up really is, as Leicester set for transfer wooden spoon. The Leicester City manager's comments at the weekend brought raised eyebrows with concern among fans that the summer was not going to be what they thought it might. I mean, it's all so confusing, isn't it? I mean, we have got a new transfer guru coming in, this Martin guy from Southampton. But he's not joining us until the transfer window's open, even though Southampton have got a new person in charge of transfers. So what's that all about? They've got a new one in already, but we've got to wait to get the guy from them until the end of the transfer window. I think we've been stitched up a bit like a turkey there. Anyway. So when Brendan Rodgers said over the weekend that a big part of his healthy shake-up of the Leicester City squad was the reconnection with our culture, there were raised eyebrows. Can you smell something here? Is there a smell going around here? Yeah, I just wonder. Get that cow out. This was far removed from the healthy shake-up supporters thought we were going to see their club go through. Back when Rodgers first mentioned those words in February, it was a reference to transfers and improving the team by recruiting a different level of player or a hungry player who wants to prove a point. The manager also said 5 or 6 signings would constitute a refresh of the squad, and that built excitement ahead of the transfer window. Supporters had anticipated that City may flex their muscles in the market in order to kickstart another charge towards the top 4. I mean, now I know we'll be doing the devil of the deep blue sea here, because if we don't, it is wrong. Thank you, Mason. I've been rushing today. I've been rushing all round today. I am 2 years out of date. You're quite right. You are quite right. There we go. So I don't know what to make of it. If the club come out and explain to us what is going on, it leaves all their transfer policy open. Like, oh, well, they can't buy until they sell Tielemans, and let's go in for a cheeky offer, cheaper offer for Tielemans. It is hard. I just don't know what is going on. What is happening at our club. As I say, the last group, the last team to make a signing in the Premier League. Wooden spoon. I mean, that kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Terry says we will get bigger bucks for Tielemans if he has a good World Cup. Well, we won't, because they'll only have 6 months of his contract left when he comes back, and he can start talking to clubs straight away, in foreign clubs straight away, and we could lose him for nothing. So we'll actually get little smaller bucks for him, Terry. Anyways, as I say, it's the hope that kills us. It's the not knowing that drives us potty. Let's be honest with you. And the players that we're going in for, right? The players that we're going in for. Let's have a look. And you're going to get a lot of this, I'm afraid, because I'm having to move from one screen to another. If I can just find the right one. Here we go. No, it's not that one. It had one of those days where everything is absolutely going wrong. Let's have a look at a different screen. What we are looking for is the fact that we lost Nathan Collins. We lost out on Nathan Collins. Now, I don't know how true this actually was. Really? Was there any truth in it? We were supposed to be at the forefront for Tarkowski. Now, I know some of you don't want Tarkowski. I thought he was really good. We've got Evans back, and I'm not saying that Evans is going to be injured every 5 minutes, but we've seen now, if there's a certain age like Jamie Vardy, that when they do get an injury, they're out for a lot longer. So we need somebody to come in. Yes, we've got Fofana, but he's still only young. We know that Soyuncu plays better with a more experienced partner. And when Evans isn't there, Soyuncu doesn't seem to play as well. We have been after Tarkowski for ages. As soon as he becomes free, because we wouldn't pay 30 million apparently for him, that was too much. Too much for experienced Premier League defender, 30 million. Well, we wrote that off on Slimani, didn't we? And then you've got him going for a free. And then we don't go in for him. Yes, I know he wants to. He wanted to go to stay in the Northwest. I get that, but surely we could have outbid Everton. Surely we could have made it worth his while. But we lost him because we are fiddling about. We are fiddling about. And there we have Leicester City transfer target. Well, he's not set to complete now. As far as I know, he has completed a 20 million move to rivals. He's moved for 20 million to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, he hasn't been at Burnley a whole season yet. And I'm talking to you, you all know Dan, the Burnley fan that comes on here. He didn't want to lose him. Is that good? He didn't think he would lose him because he's literally only just joined in on a contract, and yet we've lost him. Still, I guess we've got Vestergaard, haven't we? So, let's not panic too much, hey guys. We've got Vestergaard here to fill in that gap. And then if that is not good enough, we then have the problem of looking at losing possibly somebody else. Because here we have Leicester target Ibrahim Songa ready to sign a new PSV deal if transfer offer for midfielder doesn't come soon. These guys, it's their career. They've not got time to sit down and twiddle their thumbs while Leicester City got the fingers up the backside, deciding, do we want him, don't we want him? Oh, should we make a not winner? The one player that we actually surprised ourselves, we went in, we said, what's the release clause? 30 million. Right, we'll buy him for 30 million, was Perez. Why can't we be doing that with players now? Are we really that hard up? Are we really got no money to spend? It is looking that way. It is definitely looking that way. And if it is, like I say, I understand it because, we're reliant on these owners. But I can still think about who made that deal with Southampton for their director of transfers. I don't get it. But like I say, this guy here, Ibrahim Sangar, Leicester target, is ready to sign a new deal with Dutch club PSV Eindhoven if an offer does not come in soon. Midfielder powerhouse Songa, 24, has been wanted by the Foxes boss after impressing his side in the Europa Conference League. However, Leicester have not yet found a buyer for Yuri Tillemans and so could not join the bidding at the required 30 million. They will sell centre-half Jan Vestergaard. Well, maybe get $1 million for him. And even striker Kelechi Iheanacho. Sangier's current deal expires in 2025. You want to sell? We're thinking about selling Iheanacho now. I don't know what to say. It goes beyond words. You know, a player that was our top scorer the season before last, relegated to being a bit part player again. I think you know, if he wants, I think he'll want to go. Not whether we want to sell him or not, but you know, who knows? He's probably, I don't know how many years Iheanacho's got left on his contract, but let's say he's got 2 or 3. It'll probably take Leicester City 2 or 3 years to really decide whether we want to sell him or not. We can't make that our mind up that much about it. So that's possibly 2. Now Ben Mee is the other one that we've been linked with. Will that happen? I mean, Burnley going through a rebuild. Ben Mee is probably along with Nathan Collins, was an excellent. He was their captain. He's got the experience again. Yes, obviously we do need some young, but we've got to say we do need the experience, and the defence isn't the same when Johnny Evans isn't in it. And I've got to be honest with you, I am just getting absolutely fed up. So let's have a look at the general news then, and see what we can gather from that. As we go through all the transfer news, and here we go. So, Leicester City transfer news live. Tielemans warning: Colwell boost rival swoop. Well, we know what the rival swooping is. I mean, you know, he's back now. He's back in training. He's gone to Belgium. You know, if it's him that's dragging it on, you were causing more trouble to this club, Yuri, by staying. Pack your boots and go so we can move on if you're going to go. I might stay at Leicester. I wouldn't be unhappy if I stay at Leicester. When I tell you something, the fans are going to get unhappy with you. We're really going to get fed up with you. I mean, Spencer said here, Ben Mee is better for him than Tarkowski. Well, yeah, but we're going to get him. You know, until this guy decides to get his finger out his arse and decide what he wants to do, we probably haven't got the money to get anybody. But oh no, Yuri's fine. You know, I scored you an FA Cup goal. You get on your knees before me and love the ground that I walk on, worship it. Well, you know, you I've forgotten that, because at the moment I'm just so fed up with you and the way that you are, you know, dragging your heels, it appears, over this. You know, that look probably sums him up. I mean, we are still looking. The key event there, which is Jamie Vardy makes Leicester City promise and delivers key contract update. That was like a week ago, and it's still our only key event. You know, are our owners, are our you know, managing directors, are the board not embarrassed by all this? You know, am I going to be proved wrong when I said maybe we should give Brendan Rodgers the 3rd year? I don't know. Is it all Brendan's fault, or is it not all Brendan's fault? But they're all off too. Well, most of the squad have gone over to Belgium, then ready for the weekend Saturday's friendly against our sister club, OH Raven, which we will be doing as a live watch along again here on Leicester Till I Die TV from 12:45 on Saturday. Rodgers now has a near full squad to work with. Now again, good, and I know, and I'm happy to admit, and I will admit that, you know, when we got the players back at the back end of last season, and those last 3 or 4 games, and yeah, we weren't playing anybody big. We played Chelsea, we got a draw with them. It actually was like having some new players. So, you know, if we don't need anybody and we stick with the squad we've got, again, come out and say it. Spencer says here, and yeah, you've got a point, Spencer. If a bid hasn't come in for Yuri, he can't go anywhere, in fairness to him. Well, then, if he is going to sign an extension like Harry Maguire did, which enables us to then be able to claim a bigger amount for him, do it. Do not just drag it out, because at the end of the day, it is his decision, because he can turn around and say, right, nobody wants me, I'm going to re-sign for Leicester. Because if we wait for Arsenal to pull the finger out, God knows when it would happen. Probably the transfer deadline day. Then who are we going to get in? Knowing Leicester will miss the transfer deadline by 14 seconds again. But the interesting thing is that neither Schmeichel nor Ward has gone to Belgium. Schmeichel's been given an extra stay. Do you know what the reason is? He's a goalkeeper, so he doesn't need to exert himself as much. Oh, so Casper, you lucky person. You're a goalkeeper, so you don't exert yourself so much, so you can actually have some more time off, because we wouldn't want to wear you out, would we? Because, you are getting on a little bit now. Small spherical objects. Time for Schmeichel to go. He had an awful season last season. Yes, I know the defence wasn't that good in front of him, but he was awful. I thought he'd been bitten by Dracula, because he was scared of crosses, and he wouldn't come out and command his area, and yet he was supposed to be commanding the whole pitch as our captain. Yes, okay, he made some good saves. That's his job. That is what we pay him to do, make some good saves. We also pay him to come out for crosses to command his box, and he was failing at that on both. And how many times did he make bad passes out to the defence? And if he's not happy, he should be talking to Brendan and saying, I don't want to be doing this. So Casper's old now. He's past his best. Move him on. Yeah, and we only bought him for $1 million. So even if we let him go for, a few 100,000, so what? Let him go somewhere. Promote Ward, who's a Welsh international. Yeah, okay, it's only Wales, I do know. Promote him, promote Iverson, and promote Stockyard. So those are your 3 goalkeepers. I'm surprised we didn't give you Pokovic another extension, to be honest with you. He likes his goal. I think we've got 4 or 5 goalkeepers in the development squad. Do we have a goalkeepers 5-a-side team or something? I don't know. But I think for me, and we did do a show. If you didn't see it, we did a show on Monday, I think it was. Yeah, Monday. So it's under the latest shows. It's called Snog, Marry, Avoid. Myself and Brad went through all the team, all the main squad, and decided not whether we wanted to snog, marry, or avoid them, but whether that's another show for another time. We went through as to whether we should sell, keep, or loan. And I was certainly one for selling Schmeichel. He wanted to keep Schmeichel, so that was one we disagreed on. But I think it is time for him to go. So no goalkeepers, but they have taken some youth players. And it's great that the youth players are coming through, but the West Brom transfer boost leaves Leicester City future uncertain. Hamza Chowdhury's future continues to be up in the air, with news that West Brom appear to have switched their attention away from the Leicester City player. The 24-year-old ball-winning midfielder was twice the target of Steve Bruce when he was managing Newcastle United, and was again linked with him interesting experienced manager early this summer as he looks to strengthen his Hawthorns, the squad at the Hawthorns. But the Baggies' interest on the former Starman Oki Yokoshui looks to have pushed Chowdhury down the wanted list of targets in that position. I really don't know what to do with Hamza. There's a little bit of me that says, you know what, it's time for him to go because we've got Mendy. You know, indeed, he's always going to be your first choice as your defensive midfielder. Let's be honest. You know, there's certain players, you know, that, you know, Tielemans is the same. Whatever we say about him, he's going to be one of the first names on the pitch, as is Vardy if he is fit. So indeed he is. So the thing is, if he, like he did last season, gets injured, who do we then play? Rodgers cocked it up again last season when he put, he didn't put Mendy in any squad, so he couldn't use him. That peed him off. And yet Mendy is the only player to have come to the end of the season with a trophy from the AFCON Cup of Nations. So do we keep Ndidi or do we keep Hamza? You see, Hamza, and again, this is something I know we don't see training, but this is something I'm not sure what Rodgers is playing at. I'm really not. Because, when we beat Liverpool over Christmas in the league, he played Hamza because of our player shortage as a defender. And against Liverpool, he played very well. All right, Liverpool missed a penalty, I know. But he played excellently. And Brendan Rodgers, as I have often said, was blowing smoke out of his arse like you wouldn't believe. It was like a chimney fire. And then we never saw him again. So, the players must be confused as to what the hell is going on. Because, the fans certainly are. Does he want Hamza? To me, if Mendy goes, then obviously we should keep Hamza. And Hamza is a multi-position player, so he can play in a few different positions. We've seen how good he was in defence. So, if we're going to keep him, then Mendy's got to go. 1 week I want to keep Mendy. I've got to be honest with you, the next week I want to keep Hamza. Yes. What do you guys think? Who would you sooner keep? Today I'm Hamza. Tomorrow I might be Mendy. We don't need them both. But that's the problem. We've held on to all our players, and the value to us, because I know we got to a European semi-final, and I don't think it was a particularly bad season, finishing 8th, but it has diminished the demand for our players, because they looked at Leicester and thought, yeah, they've had a bad season. Who'd have thought there wouldn't be 4, 5, 6 clubs knocking on the door for Tielemans? They look at the season we had, don't take into account necessarily everything, all the injuries and everything that was going on, and just say that they had a bad season. Maybe we don't want their players after all. Oh, it's a tangle web we weave. So Hamza coming or going, we don't know. Tielemans should be wary of Chelsea example here. The Belgian's been a key player for the club since arriving initially on loan. His performances have earned admiring glances from clubs across Europe, but it's Arsenal who have been the most heavily linked with the player this summer. The midfield could take recent comments from 2 former players, a potential warning over opting for a move away from the King Power Stadium this summer. Of course, 2 of those, the 2 of them were Danny Simpson, who was being interviewed, I think, after the friendly game against Notts County, who happened to be the best team in Nottingham. I thought you'd agree. When he says he wished he'd never left because of the atmosphere and that Band of Brothers feeling and everything that was going on at the club. He wishes he had stayed. And of course, we know the other one, Danny Drinkwater. Do I feel sorry for him? No. I feel sorry for the fact that he went through, the death of his parents. And I'm not an animal lover, but apparently, his dog dying upset him, and you respect that. But it was his decision to move. I believe it was him that was sat in the car outside the Chelsea training camp, wherever they do the transfers, waiting to be told he could go. The grass was greener, and look where he is now. So yes, do be careful where you go. I think you are a different class to Drinkwater, though. I think as much as I think James was the better when it was James and Drinkwater together, and we all know, of course, with Kanté and Drinkwater, Kanté made Drinkwater probably. He wasn't a bad player, to be honest. I think Kanté made him look good. And he thought he was going to be going back and obviously playing with Kanté. Chelsea changed managers. The rest is history, as they say. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you decide to do this millennium. Spencer, I'd keep Mendy, better distribution. I do think that a lot of the time. I've got to be honest with you. Man United sent midfield a message. Manchester United fans are keen to see Leicester City linked James Garner with. Wasn't he in that American police drama where he lived on a mobile home on the beach? So that was James Garner. Thank God he's doing well, isn't he, for his age? I know, I'm stupid. Linked with James Garner in the upcoming pre-season friendlies after he was left out of the squad for that afternoon's, this is obviously old, clash against Liverpool. Manchester United 4, Liverpool 0. Maybe we've all got to sort of relook at where we're going to put players, put teams in the next season prediction league. City were credited with interest in Garner early this summer, with reports suggesting that Brendan Rodgers has been keeping tabs on the former Nottingham Forest loanee. I mean, he did have an excellent season at Forest. The City boss is keen to add to his midfield over the summer, especially given the uncertainty of Yuri Tillemans. New Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag is said to be keen to take a look at the midfielder during pre-season before making a decision over his future. The 21-year-old has joined United squad on the pre-season tour of Thailand, Australia and Norway. Well, we didn't go to Thailand, we know. We went to Seagrave and up to Preston and Derby. What happened to our trip to Thailand? Mind you, what happened last time we went to Thailand? Yeah, you can't blame the owners, can you? So, I don't know how Man United fans would react to this, because we know, as good as we say the Leicester City Academy is, we do know Man United's Academy, they produce some good players over the years. So, would the situation they are in, would Manchester United fans be happy with, Ten Hag bringing through some more youngsters, or do they want more and more names being brought in from other clubs? That's the interesting thing. Or if Manchester United are interested in Tielemans, can we do a deal with them if he's that good? I need a crystal ball for our country. But it'd be interesting to know. I have to speak to Man United and see their thoughts on that. Because, you look at Rashford and you're throwing the fact that past 92, so they do have an excellent academy at Manchester United, but they can also, of course, they can bring in the big names. They've got their own problems with Ronaldo. Is he staying? Is he going? And then with 3 youngsters in at the end. I don't know. Now then, I'm going to have to apologise here to Terry. I think I might actually lose Terry from the screen, from the show, because I'm going to have to mention this. Are Leicester City turning in to a Southampton B team? I know, Terry, you said pick somebody in the small spherical object area of their body, but we have been linked with another Southampton defender. Well, we've been linked with 2. We were linked with another one apart from this one. I think we missed out on him, didn't we, as well? Leicester City new Southampton defender linked with move to the King Power Stadium. Can you imagine Vestergaard, Bertrand, and this guy, Jan Ben-Noik? I think he's the better of the 3. But we've been linked. Why is it a surprise? The Mercury there saying they're linked with a surprise move for the Southampton defender. It's not a surprise move. It's the Southampton defender, and we're after him. What's the surprise about that? Despite still having 3 years on his current deal, Bednarik faces an uncertain future at St Mary's Stadium following the signing of Armel Bella Kochab from VLF Bochum. Thanks, Goslar Hussenhal. I've also had plenty of options in defence. Rosario Stevens, Lanico, Ian Vari, and Darnell Smooth to pick from. Who's it going to be? Are we going to get him? Are we not? You know. Yeah, we've seen that. James. Welcome along to the chat, James Reed. Yeah, we've seen it now. We mentioned it before. Chelsea signing Sterling, bargain, if you ask me, a bargain at 47.5 million. Surprising that him just go to another championship team. I'm not going to lie, but anyway, so that's the transfer news, sort of in a nutshell. The Leicester Mercury, I do like this on the Leicester Mercury, actually, on Leicester Live. They do a question and answer. We get people to send in the questions, and their chief football writer will actually try and answer them for you. So Jordan Blackwell has attempted to answer your questions, guys. So let's see what he has been saying. So, question. Is there anyone we're concretely in talks with, or is it just rumours? How long do you think it will be before we sell and buy? So I'm just having a drink. At the moment, no, I'm not aware of any concrete talks with potential signings, but it's rare that news of concrete talks emerges until something is in an advanced stage. Yes, there are plenty of rumours doing the rounds, but many of them will have foundation. City aren't being idle. They will have players on their shortlist or players that they have been linked to. Of the players that we've been linked to, I think Cowell at Chelsea, Sangaré at PSV, who we've just mentioned, and Delk at Club Brugge all fit what they're looking for. As for timing, I don't think anything is imminent, so we may not see any significant outgoings or arrivals until next week at the earliest. Okay. Delk, I have a feeling he's going to go to AC Milan, and we've already mentioned that Sangaré will probably stay at PSV if we don't hurry up. And Colwell at Chelsea, I would love him. I would absolutely love him, to be honest with you, but I don't know whether we can get him or not. Leicester lost by conceding 2 goals from set pieces, and Schmeichel didn't go to France with the team. Is that a worry? Also, will Leicester end the transfer window without signing any players? As I've written, I don't think the extra break for Schmeichel quite stacks up, given he's a goalkeeper and it's not as physically taxing, and given he's not the only City player who will definitely be heading to the World Cup. Why I'm not concerned about the set pieces conceded in the Notts County game, as it was mostly young players on the pitch, and there's been no time yet for Rodgers to address it with all of his squad present. I do wonder if any work they do in Evian will be as effective as it could be without Schmeichel there. I think defending set pieces is something that needs to involve all 11 players. It's harder to practice without getting used to the goalkeeper's movements and things like that. Interesting. Like I said, and then he goes on about transfers. Will you be challenging Brendan on a lack of transfer business compared with statements over the last 6 months around improving the squad? I am hoping, says Jordan Blackwell of the Leicester Mercury, to speak to Rodgers after the Luton game on Saturday and plan to ask him about transfers. Yes. While I'm not sure he needs challenging as such, it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on the slow progress in the market given what he had hoped for. Are Brendan and the club aligned on what is needed, or is a lack of investment reflecting the doubts over the manager? Wow. Yes, I think they're aligned. The chairman wrote in his programme notes before the last game of the season the club had planned for investment for both Rodgers and Top have said they hope to transfer business this summer. I don't think the lack of activity is based on doubts over the manager. No, I think it is more to do with wanting to get players off the books first before bringing others in. But also, Rodgers doesn't have the sole say on transfers, even during this period where there isn't a head of recruitment in place. It's collaborative effort. When City buy players, they're doing it for the club, not just for the manager who is then in charge. That is well said, Jordan. That is well said. We've seen a number of academy players promoted into the first team squad. I guess that along with the lack of transfer can be dragged on. the better chance I might have of breaking through. Any chance of extending Madder's contract this year so that the club protects his assets like with Littlewells last season? And Jordan said it's got to be. The club are well aware of the power of long contracts and how it strengthens their hand in negotiations if any of the Premier League's elite come looking for a deal. I know the club do business behind closed doors and one will never know the depths of transfer negotiations that are ongoing, but the silence is painful. Should we be worried about the club finances? As mentioned in previous answer, Top said in his programme notes before the final game of the season that the club had planned for investment. So maybe I'm wrong on that then. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We will see. So it's all. We all still ended up with ifs, buts, and maybes. Have we not? You know, we're no better off. I don't know than we were. You know, when I see, I mean, Leicestershire ladies have made 2 signings. You know, Leeds, Nottingham Forest coming up have made more signings. I just think, you know, we are being that slow that we are just going to lose out on them, and that is the big worry. But that is the news. Basically, the fact there is no news. So maybe one day I'll have to get some indoor fireworks to go off if we actually make a signing. Guys, thank you for tuning in. It was just a quick catch up today. Don't forget, please support the companies that support the channel. They're all listed in the table below. If you're on YouTube, in the description. And don't forget, what are you doing at 7 o'clock? I've got this guy coming on. Yeah, Rodri Giggs, Ryan's brother. What does he really think about Leicester? What does he really think about Manchester United next season? What did he think of them last season? Could he, you know, he was manager at Salford at one point. So we're talking Salford, Manchester United, Leicester City, and of course Wales. What does he think? What would he sooner happen? Beat England and not progress through to the next round of the World Cup, or lose to England and progress? We will find out. We will find out, I am sure, later on. If you haven't already, as he was doing earlier, said please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your eyes if you've been watching us. Thank you for your ears if you've been listening to us on the podcast. My name's Chris, and I will be back at 7 o'clock with the Rodri Giggs interview. I will see you then. Take care. Goodbye. And remember, whatever you do, enjoy it, but don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Cool. I'm out of here. Ooh, that's a wrap.
Some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.